Hey guys, how's it going? It's Baggins here, and today we're back with a New World video. Now, it's been a long time since we've covered any New World on the channel, and largely for the reason that not a whole lot has been going on with the game publicly. They've been tweeting out and sharing videos and stuff, but in terms of actually being able to play the game, none of it has been public for quite some time now. I think the preview event, which was like a week-long, streamable, playable, all the public can hop in, the preview event was back in August of 2020, so it's almost a year ago since the game was publicly playable. And one of the reasons why they took the game down and decided to keep working on it and then bring it back up what seems to be almost a year later now is so they could add a lot more content to the game, because the game generally, it felt like for a lot of people, was lacking in content. And one of the big things that they've been focusing on and they've been announcing over this E3 Summer Game Awards period is expeditions, which is basically New World's term for dungeons. Now, it's pretty strange to think that New World was at one point going to be an MMO that wouldn't contain any dungeons. For me, I do think that a good old dungeon grind is pretty much a cornerstone of the MMO RPG experience. I spent many an hour grinding through the good old Mythic Plus system of World of Warcraft, trying to get particular drops and, fill out my loot vault box for the week. But this was something that was devoid from a New World during the preview event. However, they have since added. If you guys want to see Amazon Game Studios' particular video, the deep dive on it, I will put a link to that in the description down below. But one of the segments which they mention in the video is that in order to be competitive in the expeditions, you should probably run a tank, healer, and DPS.
The wisest adventurers will also make sure to strategize team roles, with players designating healer, tank, and DPS responsibilities accordingly.
Now, this isn't something that's particularly shocking for any MMO player, any MMO fan. Having a tank run in, get the aggro everything, the DPS burns it down, and the healer tries to keep everybody alive. It is, again, very typical, very standard stuff that you would expect in an MMO RPG. But one of the things that is not typical within New World and makes it quite unusual is the way the sort of classes are delegated, and that everybody is kind of everything. And how you become a particular class is where you choose to spend your points. So as you level up through the game and as you use particular weapons, you will get weapon mastery points, which will allow you to be more proficient with those particular sorts of weapons and unlock the abilities with those weapons. And then you also have attribute points as well, which again go in with the particular weapons. So if you are a sword and board user, you want to play a tank, then you'll put your points into strength and constitution. Whereas if you're going to try and be a ranged DPS, you want to pick up a fire staff or an ice gauntlet, and you want to put your points into intelligence. And also, if you want to play the healer, you would pick up the life staff. It's currently the only healing weapon in the game that we know of, and you'd put your points into focus. So effectively, if you think about it, you could, provided you have like a large amount of gold, or I think it's Azoth, in order to reroll the points, you could basically be anything at any given time that was required for the dungeon. And maybe that's why, from what I can tell, New World don't currently have a dungeon finder system in place. Now, for those of you not super well versed in the MMORPG genre, something that I see pretty commonly, when you are queuing up for a dungeon, you can choose whether you're playing the healer role, whether you're playing the damage role, or whether you're playing the tank role. Now, traditionally, the healer and tank roles are less desirable than the damage role. Everybody just wants to do the big damage and feel good seeing the numbers go up on the screen. I've been there myself. I've played a Convoke the Spirits Druid in World of Warcraft. It is fun to just press the button and see the big numbers happen. But the truly dedicated and those who are a little bit masochistic will enjoy playing a healer or a tank. But as I say, they're traditionally in the lesser category, and this is something that concerns me when it comes to New World, is the fact that if there is no dungeon finder and there is no incentive to play tank or healer, is the game then going to end up with a shortage of these and the whole dungeon experience going to be very difficult and very uncomfortable, having no aggro or anything, or nobody's able to get heals? It's just a bunch of damage dealers running around trying to cover their own butts, and it's just generally a lot of chaos. I am concerned that maybe this is an oversight from Amazon, or maybe they are leaning too much into this idea that, well, you can just re-roll and become a tank if you want to. Just take out the sword and shield from your inventory. But that is going to require you to spend a considerable amount of time farming enemies over and over again to raise up your sword and shield skill, and you're also going to have to spend a significant amount of gold in order to reroll your attributes to be more of what you would expect. Now, there is the potential that Amazon, this is the alpha, we don't fully know what's going on behind those closed doors. They might be preparing a dungeon finder system. They just want to get the expeditions out there first and show them to people, and with the launch launch or with the closed beta, the dungeon finder system might be there. But right now, it's just going to be said that I am a little bit concerned that it could be generally chaos when this game comes out of the doors if there is no dungeon finder system in place. And I guess my tip to you guys would be that if you are watching this video and it does go live without a dungeon finder, probably make sure that you've got a backup life staff and a backup sword and shield stashed in your inventory, and maybe spend a little bit of time farming some kills out with those in order to raise your stats, just in case you find yourself in a situation where everybody's playing damage. There's no group finder incentive to reward tanks or healers to play their particular role, like you often see in other games that, you know, the tank, it says, hey, we need tanks, so if you queue up as a tank, we'll give you extra stuff. If that's not going to be present in New World, but you do want to run these expeditions, then maybe consider, as I mentioned, just putting some time into the sword and shield and the life staff. So that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to quickly mention, or maybe like give a little bit of tips, some heads-up advice when it comes to New World. Again, this may all be for like nothing. Amazon might go ahead and show us that they have a dungeon finder system, but right now I can't see any evidence of it within the patch notes or from any like preview gameplay, anything that I've seen so far. Do you guys think this is going to be a concern or not? Obviously, with something like WoW Classic, that game sort of relaunched and there is no dungeon finder system in WoW Classic as far as I'm aware, but obviously that game continues to thrive. But then again, going back on that, everybody kind of knows what to expect when they're going into WoW Classic. It is like the game from 15 years ago when all these what would you call it, like modern luxuries and conveniences haven't been added into the game yet, whereas people might be expecting those conveniences to be present within New World. So overall, I'm kind of a bit mixed about it. I just thought I'd, you know, pass the information off to you guys and maybe we'll have a little bit of a conversation about it. Speaking of which, if you guys do want to continue this conversation, you want to talk about New World, maybe find a company to join when the game goes live with the 20th of July beta. I'll be putting a link to Discord in the description down below. It's specific for New World. It's going to be our company, our faction Discord. I'll be sharing tips and tricks and any other just general thoughts I have on New World in there. So if you guys are interested, link to that in the description down below, as well as the stream. I am going to be live streaming the game. Funny enough, links in the description down below for the stream as well. It'd be great to see you guys there. And it's got to be said, I am looking forward to the launch of New World. A little bit apprehensive, but excited at the same time. Alright guys, that's it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed this one, make sure you go ahead and click the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.